What's up guys, my name is JDCook5 and welcome back to another episode of the F1 My Team career mode. Today we're going to be racing in Imola, but before we do, we need to do the natural thing of getting a few things upgraded, a few things kind of seeing what we can do with the facilities and maybe the car itself. So chassis upgrade going on there straight away, that's most of the R&D gone. Having a look at what we've upgraded, we've done quite a lot over the ball honestly. I think we've kind of spread it out quite nicely, which is always nice. We've got a decent budget at the moment, 7.47 million, so we could upgrade something. That's going to be, well, it's hard because we haven't done a lot of durability stuff, so we're going to upgrade the quality control, and then we're going to go from there and maintain the budget. So Imola then, a brilliant circuit, a really historical one more than anything also. A circuit that I've really come to love over the F1 games, and something that I've really come to kind of get to terms with what the circuit offers. It offers a lot of long straights, a load of twisty corners, and a lot of fun, that is to be said. There's many overtaking points, there's many battles to be had. It's just bringing it to the table and seeing what we can do in general. Practice didn't seem too bad. I felt like we could get off the ball quite nicely. I felt like we could do a lot straight away. I felt like it's a track that I've come accustomed to over the times in F1 and everything else. If you didn't watch our previous season, if you do want to watch our previous season, I do have all my playlists on my channel. You can watch them literally from start to finish and you will see how we got on previously in Imola, and I feel like we did pretty well for where the car was at originally, so we could definitely push on from developing the car. The weather's definitely going to be against us. We have got a dry practice, dry qualifying, but I'm pretty sure we've got a wet race. Whatever the weather though, this will not dampen our spirits whatsoever, and we're definitely going to be on the charge and hopefully get a podium. It's been really hard for us. I feel like we've done well in aspects. Obviously we won in Australia, we've been there or thereabouts, but we have had some tough ones recently. A top in the practice with Esteban Ocon coming 7th in practice, so a good kind of start, so good signal so far. Hopefully we can charge on and go from there if anything. The qualifying session is going to be hard though, because I noticed straight away that the wet is going to literally come straight away. I mean, we could not do anything apart from go on the dries, get a lap, and then hopefully that will do some sort of okay. But I feel like in the order that we've come out, it is what it's going to be. Anyone else that comes out afterwards, they're not going to get a better lap time, that is for sure. Esteban Ocon staying in the pit, so I can see him going down the pecking order. Unfortunately, it is what it is. It's one of those, but yeah, it's not one that we've kind of where we prepare for it in practice and then we can actually kind of do decent in qualifying. It's been a bit of an annoying one, but it is what it is. Yuki Tsunoda getting on pole initially, so whether that's going to stick, I'm not too sure. The track is going to get wetter and wetter, bearing in mind, so obviously we're going to be losing grip. There's not going to be much heat in the tyres, and this is going to be a real sticky one to see what we can do in all honesty, because I really wanted a decent qualifying session, because I felt like I would have gone near to pole, if not pole, more than anything. But it's one of those, we can't help the weather and we're just going to have to push on in the race. It's going to be a full wet race. Hopefully it's only intermediates that we're going to be racing on as we come to near the end of this lap, and this is going to be the only lap we're going to do because we're not going to get any better than this. The rain is pouring, there's no way we're going to get any faster on the intermediate tyre. Sergio Perez getting the fastest lap. What sort of lap can we put out then? We will know straight away when we go over that checkered line. As you can see, we've got other drivers in front of us. De Vries is there, Carlos Sainz is there, I'm pretty sure. As we go on to the final bit of straight then, we are going to get DRS. It hasn't been disabled so far. As we go over the checkered line, we're going to be qualifying P9 then. A complete mixed match. Felipe Drugovich in 8th, as you can see. Logan Sargent in 5th on the Williams. You see Yuki Tsunoda in the top 3. Charles Leclerc right at the bottom. Max Verstappen's season gets from bad to worse. He qualifies 14th. And this is going to be an exciting one, that is for sure.
Home circuit of the Scuderia Ferrari. We expect to see a lot of local supporters wearing red today, and they've all turned out for what we're expecting will be a sensational event here in the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix. Unlike most Formula One tracks, Imola is driven anti-clockwise and offers our drivers today just over 3 miles of glistening wet tarmac to negotiate. It's made up of a roughly equal split of 9 right-hand turns and 10 left-hand. Watch the drivers on the way into turn 16. Managing their speed there will be crucial, with the rain only adding to the difficulty of that downhill braking section, which then, of course, leads into the track's longest straight, though no DRS there today, of course. It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. Sergio Perez will lead us away from pole position, and Oscar Piastri completes the front row. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Fernando Alonso Alonso, Tsunoda, Sargent, Russell, Sainz, Drugovic, Cook, Norris, Stroll, De Vries, Hamilton, Verstappen, Magnussen, Ocon, Joe, Gasly, Albon, Sato, Leclerc, and Valtteri Bottas begins the race from the back of the grid. With preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track. Anthony Davidson also joins me in the commentary box today. Now, can I get your take on Max Verstappen? That was a great win in the last race, but can they keep that momentum going into this weekend?
There are never any guarantees in this business, but certainly the performance last time out would have boosted their confidence coming.
Here we are then, we're in Imola, we are on track. This is going to be the race. It's 22 laps as the 5 lights go out and away we go. They're not the best of starts as we start really slow there. Felipe Drugovic getting a much better start. Lando Norris to the right hand side, he goes up into P9, falling down to P10 for myself as we try and battle with Lando to see if we can get any better of him. We have to make do with what we've got more than anything. It's a slow round to the corner. De Vries even overtaking us. We're down to 11th, we're not even in the points so far as we try and see if we can take a look on Nick De Vries. Nick De Vries looking really good in the AlphaTauri in the wet also. The wet not being the kind of most favourable condition from what we've previously raced in more than anything. I feel like it's been one there we've been really struggling, and it's a track that we like, yes, but it's the conditions that are against us more than anything. Lando Norris looking really slow through that corner as we try to capitalise on that. We go on the right hand side. Lando doing a really good season so far. He won the sprint race from the previous sprint. We're taking a look on the right hand side now as we go really wide, late onto the brakes. We ain't able to get it around the corner whatsoever. We do actually hold the position, so we're up into P9. Felipe Drugovic just in front in the Haas machine. George Russell in 7th. As you can see, there's a bit of a train forming. Logan Sargent still sticking in a decent position. He's currently in 6th as we try and see if we can take a look at the Haas machine of Felipe Drugovic. Through we go on the inside line as we go through the Lesmo kind of part of the track. Really difficult part of the track to try and get it turned, especially in these sort of conditions. But we are through. We're into P8 then with George Russell just in front. A 1.3 second gap already created. Is this going to be a dull Grand Prix for us? Is this going to be what we didn't hope more than anything? We was really hopeful going into the weekend. We topped practice times, a bit of a kind of sketchy qualifying, and unfortunately the race doesn't seem to be any better as we cross the line for the first time in this Grand Prix. Lap 2 of 22 commences then as we got George Russell just in front of us. Logan Sargent there also. Them two are battling it out. Hopefully Logan kind of slows George down more than anything, and we can try and see if we can take a look at him. As we see now, Logan Sargent has dropped into 7th. We've put ourselves into a decent position where we can take a look now. As we see there, we're right on the rear of his car. 3 laps now being commenced as we go wide on that corner, an FIA corner being noted also, as he has got his overtake on as we go late onto the brakes then, as we can try and squeeze a move. We are through onto Logan. Logan not having the best of season so far in the Williams machine. Obviously it was his debut season last season, not being the best in the Williams, being kind of not the most reliable car and the most fastest. He's definitely making sure he's trying to do anything in his powers to try and get points for the first time in his F1 career then, as we come to the end of lap 3 of 22, pushing on to lap 4 as Fernando Alonso came to the fastest lap of this Grand Prix. Not too good, couldn't actually catch that. I'm pretty sure that was a 1:26. Resume racing so far. What has gone on in front of us then, as it is yellow flags, not to seeing if it's George or Yuki Tsunoda. It must be even further ahead, as that is Oscar Piastri. He's slowing down in this Grand Prix. That's not a manoeuvre where it's gone wrong. He is out of the Grand Prix. A mechanical failure unfortunately hampering his efforts in this Grand Prix, and as you can see, he's just completely slowing down. No smoke bellowing out of the McLaren machine, but it comes to a stop, and unfortunately I nearly collide into him more than anything. I'm really kind of unsure why we're not getting any safety cars this actual season more than anything. We've had that so many times this season. Virtual safety car though that we are going to get, and we're going to have to reduce our pace to match the delta, and hopefully that might kind of hamper some sort of tyre temperature and we might get on the pace. Not too sure. I'm not the biggest fans of virtual safety cars. There's no real advantage that you really gain compared to a full safety car or a red flag in this game. But we are in 6th then. We've got George Russell just in front, Yuki Tsunoda in 4th. Pretty sure that's a Ferrari engine in 3rd. I'm not too sure whoever makes up the other places, as we are a little bit behind as the virtual safety car ends and we resume racing. Away we go for the second time in this Grand Prix when Lando Norris just in behind us. He's overtaken Logan Sargent. Logan Sargent going into 8th place now as we try and see if we can take a look at George Russell. He's been held up by Yuki Tsunoda, the man in the Alfa Romeo machine. A decent run for him so far, as he had a decent qualifying getting out straight away, and that is definitely a kind of different position for Yuki, that is for sure. George is definitely going to take a look though. He has got the stronger machine, as we try and see if we can capitalise on that. A purple sector 3, so we're looking fast, that is for sure, as we try and see if we can take a look on the right hand side. Russell goes to the right, Yuki's in the middle, I'm on the left hand side. I'm going to have to slow down though, as there's no room whatsoever, as we look to try and see if we can on the outside of Yuki Tsunoda, as George goes into 4th, Yuki Tsunoda into 5th, then myself still in 6th, as we try and push on and see if we can take a look at Yuki Tsunoda at any point. Any time that we're not kind of getting past Yuki Tsunoda is a time that George Russell is going to be making up, that is for sure. As you can see, he charges on there. George looking really good in this Grand Prix as he pushes on and tries to get a podium in the Imola Grand Prix, as Yuki Tsunoda charges on also. He's definitely going to be difficult to overtake. I don't think he's going to be so easy, especially in this wet sort of condition. Lap 7 of 22 then, as we complete the final corner of this lap. 700th of a second as of the moment, as Lando Norris is still behind us. So is Logan Sargent in 8th. A decent kind of run out for him so far, as we try and see if we can use our ERS to gain up to Yuki Tsunoda and try and go late onto the brakes in these sketchy conditions. We move over to the left hand side. Can we make a move? Yes we can. We go into the camber. We have pushed him out of the position as Lando tries to take a look. He's up into 6th also, making it worse for Yuki. Sorry about that, but we are up into P5 as Norris is in 6th, Yuki Tsunoda in 7th, as Lando tries to take a look. He tries to push himself into P5 then. A really sketchy lot of conditions at the moment that we're facing, and there's just no room for manoeuvre. There's no room to push whatsoever, as you do that slight later bit of braking and you could really be the worse for wear in this Grand Prix. But it looks to be that George Russell is on the charge, and whether we make up any places, I'm not too sure in all honesty. This might be it for the rest of our Grand Prix, and it seems to be that might be the case. Lap 10 of 22, George making up a lot of time on us, 7 seconds at the moment. Lando sticking with us, Yuki Tsunoda right behind us, so if anything it's going to be the battle for 5th, and that is for sure, because that's the only kind of area where we've got drivers with this part of the track. I mean, Verstappen isn't even there. He hasn't made up any sort of time for where he qualified P14. My teammate nowhere to be seen. This is really kind of a big change. I thought even the qualifying was a big difference, and obviously it might change during the race and that will go back to normal, but it doesn't seem to be the case. As you can see, a lot of drivers where they normally aren't are really high up compared to usual. Really good to see though, more than anything, a different load of competition, and it's always nice to have different people that you're competing against more than anything. I feel like that's the most important part of this Grand Prix, and definitely of the game more than anything, as Lando is still behind us there. He's trying to get as many points as he can this season as he goes on the charge. Would be nice to see him in a JD Cook Motorsport car, that is for sure, sorry. That would be kind of in the latter times where we can afford him and trying to lure him our way, but for the moment we're battling against him in the McLaren machine as we go wide on that particular corner. Norris not looking the fastest also through that part of the circuit. Is about 900ths of a second that splits us at the moment. Yuki Tsunoda catching up to Lando. Can he move into 6th? Who knows, as this race still goes on. Lap 21 of 22 though, and there's a big jump up from lap 11, but nothing happened. I mean, there's nothing to show you whatsoever. I could go ramble on for laps and laps and laps and say, oh yeah, we're still in 5th and Lando's still in 6th, but just nothing really happened. As we go over the checkered line for the last lap of this race, we're still in 5th, Lando Norris in 6th. The only difference is Lewis Hamilton's in 7th. A bit of a difference behind us as Stroll is there. I think Verstappen is there also. And yeah, it was just one of those where we weren't fast enough to be within the pack of top 5, but we were, well, we are in the top 5, sorry, in the top 4, but it was more of the case of we weren't fast enough to be able to kind of make that extra jump up, and I really think qualifying really kind of hampered our weekend more than anything, and that was no fault of our own. We couldn't get any quicker out of the box from what we were, and it was just one of those where we have to take it on the chin. A top 5 finish would be really good, but we're still going to have to kind of maintain our own as we go really wide through that bit of the track, and as you can see, we've got a bit of a train forming behind us. We're not going to get any DRS on the ones behind us, so that's one thing that we don't have to worry about, but the different pace and areas of the car where we are kind of lacking is for sure, and maybe they are a bit better than us, who knows. Lando Norris is still behind us, 600 of a second. He's maintained a decent pace through this Grand Prix, and that McLaren car has definitely got better. Piastri obviously proving to be difficult in some races, not this time though, as Fernando Alonso claims his first win of the season. Brilliant to see as another different race winner in this Grand Prix. The tyres are completely shot, as you can see, and we're trying to get this car over the line in P5 to at least say that we've got a top 5 finish. Obviously, we qualified in 9th, so we've made up some decent places also, and that's just the room for improvement that needs to be made in the wet condition and push on further in this season. But a really good Grand Prix, a decent battles in the first few laps up to kind of lap 11 more than anything, as the checker flag is being waved in Imola and we go over the line in P5. Then, as I say, it could have been better, it could have been much worse, but yeah, it's one of those. We have to take it on the chin and move forward, and hopefully we can get back on that podium, because that is where we belong. Driver of the day going to Lewis Hamilton then as we go over to the final standings, and as you can see, Max did get in the points in the end. He finishes P9 with Yuki getting up the final point. Unfortunately, Logan wasn't able to get any points whatsoever. My teammate Esteban Ocon, he was in 16th, not the best of races from himself, as Fernando, Perez and Sainz make up the top 3. We stay in 4th with 32 points off of top. George not having the best of Grand Prix compared to previous, so he doesn't make any sort of jump up on the other drivers. And we are 6th in the constructors then, so yeah, a bit of a change in the standings, but we look forward to the next races, that is for sure. So I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Please like and subscribe for more content just like this one, and don't forget to hit the notification button so you never miss a video. Cheers.